number one producer. It was a 16-month contest, $640,126, 640,000 in
Let's
premium.
go. You can outwork your stupidity. You can outwork all the dumb mistakes you make. You can outwork the fact that you're a rookie. And you can even outwork the fact that you're afraid. If you just work, you're going to actually get really good. And along the way, you'll make sales and get confident and get better.
That's something that most people wouldn't guess, or they don't know what it's taken to this point for you to be number one.
You got to master the mundane. I heard this one guy talk about that. I thought that was such a great way to put it. Honestly, a lot of times it's the same thing, dude. You might drive down the same highway, go to a lot of this, maybe the same neighborhoods. You're wearing the same general like uniform or whatever clothes you wear in the field, and too many people let the boredom distract them. And they say, "Oh, I'd rather just get off early and go to the bar. Oh, I don't feel like waking up on time today."
Coming to you with another episode of the Insurance Man Podcast. Don't shoot. Super stoked. We've got the number one agent in the country, Emmanuel Russum, absolute killer. And I'm stoked. I mean, I've been wanting to do this with you for a long time. So really excited to have you on today.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Adam. I'm just happy to be here. I've been watching all the episodes and can't say all, but most of them, and they've been really informative and a lot of fun. So any value we can add, help some people, let's do it.
100%, man. Let's just go ahead and dive in. How long have you been with Lincoln Heritage?
3.5 years now. I started September 2021. Yep.
Okay, and what were you doing before you were with Lincoln Heritage?
So I was actually in sales. I was selling software over
Okay,
the phone, over Zoom,
okay.
and was working with different startups. So just from that world.
How long were you doing that?
So I was doing that for a few years. I worked for this one startup for almost 3 years, and then COVID hit, and a bunch of stuff hit the fan. And then I changed to another company, and then that's right before I came to insurance. So overall, I think 4 years, like in the SaaS kind of software as a service world.
Okay, what was that, a commission-based position that you were?
Yeah, so that was base salary plus commission on top. Yeah, that's pretty much how they do it. Yeah.
Getting into that, was that your first official sales role, or did you do sales prior to that?
Yeah, nothing besides just having fun and just making fun of life. As a job, yeah, that was my first,
Okay.
first sales gig. Yeah.
What was the training like over there?
That's a blessing, actually. I love, if anything, that world has really great training because all your calls are recorded, all your activity is automatically logged. Your manager can see how many calls you made, how many meetings you ran, how many meetings you booked, and your meetings are recorded, your cold calls are recorded, everything's recorded, your emails are recorded, all that stuff. So I loved it because it really helped me understand sales as like a science. And that's what sold me on getting into sales. Like I first, the stereotype sales is all about like the gift of gab and persuasion and all of that. And that just seemed kind of like a roller coaster. So I'm like, I'm depending my whole income on somebody liking me. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
But when I learned that like it's really numbers, I'm like a numbers guy. So the number of people that you open or prospect or whatever turns to the number of people you actually talk to, number of people that schedule meetings with, number of people that buy, and if as long as you can keep getting people on the top of the funnel, more people are going to come out the bottom. Once I understood that, I was like, dude, I got to actually really learn about sales because now I can make money no matter what.
Dude, that's awesome. And how did you find Lincoln?
So actually, one of the guys I was working with came to Lincoln, and
Okay.
so he ended up coming to Lincoln, and he introduced me to our upline Raphael, who's anybody who's in Lincoln knows Raphael. He's a stud and
100%.
a star salesman and great leader, and one of my friends now, which is a blessing. But he introduced me to him. It took me like 6 months to decide to get licensed, but once I did, I hit the ground running. Yeah.
That's awesome. And definitely Raphael, he's a phenomenal dude, man. Not only is he great at what he does, he's just an all around just good guy, man.
100%, 100%.
Whenever you started out, what did the training look like?
Yeah, so once I got my license, I had let UBI know, which is like our regional team and agency. And so once I let them know, let Raphael know, we did kind of like so I actually joined during COVID. So there was like this Zoom boot camp that they did. So I learned just the basics of how to understand, basically understanding the funeral industry, understanding basics of life insurance, basic overcomes for different objections that you get at the door and in the field, and learning about the lead system. But really, once I got through contracting and did that, we went out in the field. So I shadowed and just really saw presentations happen, saw sales get made. And after that, it was pretty much here's some leads, go make something happen. And a lot of support over the phone. And I just was like, let's go make magic. So we just went out, and first couple leads were my back door. I'll never forget. It was this Indian gentleman, heavy accent, hard negotiator. I'm not buying insurance. I don't need insurance. So I had to like talk him down to $15, and I called him for some support, and we ended up closing him for just the most basic plan. But for me, it was a win. I was like, dude. I went out in my first couple hours, got a sale. Let's go. I don't care if it's $15. I was just happy to get a win. And yeah, basically just rinse and repeat. It went on for a while. I'm not gonna lie. I got a little bit discouraged along the way. Almost quit. But because it's the business is tough. It works. It really works. But it can be discouraging. It's, yeah, at first for a lot of people, like it was for me. But
We've all been there. We've all had
yeah,
those thoughts, myself included, of, hey, man, I don't know, is this the right thing? You go out and get your
yeah.
teeth kicked in a couple of times. What did that look like? And what did you do to push through that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm a person of faith, so I pretty much thought I had gotten some good signs that I should come, and so that's what I was riding on, that energy, that initial, hey, this is for you, this is your time to do it, go get it. And I was riding on that for a couple months, and my work ethic and just my enthusiasm for sales and all that. But eventually, it felt like the money was a little bit slower than I wanted. I thought maybe the leads were bogus. There's all these things that are going through my head where I was like, I don't know if this is exactly what it's cracked up to be. And at that time, there were a lot of insurance agencies big online, like advertising career opportunities. And you get that whole the grass is greener somewhere else idea. And fortunately, by the grace of God, I had a heart to heart with Raphael, and I just felt like I was supposed to stay. And that's really all I could say about that. Honestly, I just felt, God, I trust you. At the end of the day, I'm gonna work hard. I know that, but I need that extra something special. And I felt like I was supposed to stay, and it's a blessing. I'm glad I did, because it was only a couple months later that I wrote like my first $40,000 month, and then pretty much, yeah,
Off to
yeah,
the races at that point.
yeah, exactly.
That's phenomenal, though. And I'm Christian man myself. Believe me, I
Mhm.
feel like at some point between my wife and God at the beginning, first couple of years here, even when I did well, but it was like every time I got paid, the money was already gone. It was already spent. How often were you and Raphael like typically talking whenever you first started out?
Every day,
Every day.
multiple times a day. Yeah, yeah. Multiple times a day, every day, dude. And I was very, to Raphael's very hands on, and I also was very hungry. I had just proposed when I joined Lincoln. So I
Wow.
was like, dude, I gotta make the money and I gotta make it now. So I was like more than a sponge. I was like just eating all the information, asking the same dumb question 10, 20 times. And that's what I always tell people, new people now. There's no shame in asking questions and getting help and asking the same question over and over again, expressing that you're having trouble with the same thing. I feel like there's no shame in that. If anything, it just shows that you're serious, because that's a human learning process. There's some stuff that we just have to repeat over and over again. But yeah, so we were communicating a ton, and that was huge for me. And I was also taking in a lot of extra sales training as much as I could. So anything I could pay for that I could afford at the time, I was taking all that in as well to help me get the extra edge. Yeah.
What kind of sales training, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, so I was using Cardone U. I was using any of the audiobooks I could get, the Tom Hopkins. I forgot, it was an older one. I think How to Become a Master at Selling, something like that, or selling financial services, Brian Tracy's stuff. Dude, anything I could get my hands on. There was this one that was recommended, which is How I Raised Myself from a Failure to Success in Selling. It's like this guy's, hey, I used to suck at sales and I became a success. And that's Brian Tracy. I think most sales gurus, I don't think they were like, not some of them, but most of them were not naturals. So like they had to learn it, and it became amazing. But just the idea that somebody could come in, not be that good, and become like world class to the point where they're going to pay millions of dollars to teach people how to sell. I was like, sign me up. I want to do the same thing.
That's cool, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. That something that we talk about a lot is investing, going above and beyond, and obviously it shows in what it's produced in you as the number one big dog in the whole country. How long were you in before you hit 40,000?
I think my first full time month was October, and then I wrote 40,000 for the first time in March. So it's like October, November, December, January, February, March, 6 months. Yeah. Yeah.
Killing, dude. Did it even open your eyes more, or were you like, hey, I can duplicate this?
Yeah, I was just happy to be making some dough because that was like a couple months before I got married. So I was like, yes, I don't have to find another career. I can make money with this. So I wasn't even thinking about building or leading other people or anything else at that time. Although I knew I had learned enough from my self-education. Eventually, you have to grow and help other people and duplicate yourself and that kind of thing. But I was just like, dude, I need to first make a great living up front. And then also, it opened up the idea that my pay through could grow. Because once that started happening, and I noticed like I would just call in every month, what's my pay through? What's my pay through? And it would just jump every month. And it still excites me today. My pay through just went up, and I was like, yes, let's go.
Uh, what was it that you did different that month from like the previous months to get to break that?
Everybody's threshold is different. I don't know everybody's situation. I didn't have kids at the time, and at the time I still was technically single, hadn't got married yet. So I had all this time or whatever, and just energy, enthusiasm, all that stuff. It was a perfect storm. But also, I would just say, really, just momentum. You feel like it's not working. It's like when everybody has heard all the analogies of planting a seed and that turns into a tree, but it doesn't happen overnight. It's underground for so long, it looks like nothing's happening. And that's exactly what it was. I was knocking doors, learning objections. I was understanding the insurance industry, understanding our comp plan, understanding like, and really just signing up a lot of clients. But it just, a lot of stuff had happened. Of course, the discouragement I shared with you, one of my closest friends, his mom passed. I was involved with the funeral. Just a few other things came up that kind of distracted me. But what I didn't realize all along is I was just building so much like understanding. And what happened was that month I hit 40,000. I basically started off the month at $12,000 in business because I had a bunch of business that rolled over from the previous month. So that's when it finally clicked. I was like, oh, if you just work consistently, it's much easier to have big months because you're writing new business, but you have business that's coming over from the previous month as well. So basically, if you just go hard every day, it's much easier to have a big month. I think the only thing that happened was I just had fully committed, like in February. I like January I fully committed. In February I wrote a bunch of business. Some of it didn't clear right away, and I woke up in March and it was a bunch of business on the board already. And I was like, boom, let's go. Raphael's, you got to be number one. I love Raphael's my guy. I was like, yes, I do. Yes, let's go.
And going forward from that point, what has been your biggest month in premium so far? Biggest written?
I wrote 60 one month. I think that was a year later to the day. I wrote 60,000 in February of the next year. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
phenomenal, man. That's phenomenal. And
Yeah.
at this point, we were talking, I was looking at your numbers for Lincoln's last contest. I guess I probably should have started this with this, but number one producer, it was a 16-month contest, $640,126, 640,000 in
Let's
premium, which
go.
is just an absurd amount of business.
Let's go. Let's go.
So now that you're writing such big numbers, what is it that
Mhm.
inspires you like day in and day out now to continue grinding?
The pay through is definitely exciting, but honestly, now for better or worse, I'm easily distracted. It's a dichotomy. Like I definitely once I bite into something, it's like I'm all in, and but sometimes you can get bored just doing the same thing. And so the new thing that has been inspiring me is just realizing that I need to be an example for any new people that are coming in. And also, I need to stay sharp so I can train and I can be relevant when I'm helping them. And that mixed with a pay through, and I constantly push myself on like challenging myself on daily earnings. Last year, I started tracking, basically setting a target for myself for how much premium I wanted to write and how much I want to deposit in my bank. I didn't always hit it, but it definitely helped me like stay urgent of, dude, let's go for it today. I can't focus on the whole month like I used to. Now I just try to attack every single day. Yeah.
What was that number, if you don't mind sharing? Let's say
And
initially.
initially, okay, very initially, it was like write an app a day, just get something in every single day. And I started doing that. Then I was like, let me get two a day. And then maybe a year later, year and a half later, I started trying to go for premium targets. But one thing I was doing that was helping me that I know I do encourage people to do. I know not so many people are really like detail oriented like this, but I would track how many doors I knocked, how many appointments I set, how many presentations I made, how many sales I made, how much premium I wrote, and how many referrals I got. I would, if I scheduled any seminars or ran any seminars, how many sales I got from just giving out my card to people. I was like a maniac. I would track all of this stuff. And I had a spreadsheet, and I kept that spreadsheet for 18 months, like my first year and a half. I uploaded it every Sunday night, and I would review my numbers from the last week, and that helped me get better. And so my target was my target was 20,000 a week in production that posted that month. So that's 80,000 a month. I never quite hit that. Still haven't quite hit that yet, but it's exciting to me because that would mean you would do like almost $1 million in production in a year. Yeah. Yeah.
That's dude, that's phenomenal. I love hearing other people talking about like tracking their numbers and I've always been the exact same way, right? It's if I can understand the equation, right? Then now we can actually do something with it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you don't know and you're shooting in the dark. And so to me, that's exciting to hear tracking those
Yeah.
numbers. And do you mind sharing, or do you know like off the top of your head back like when you started versus to like where you currently are?
Yeah.
Like, just like idea.
Yeah, yeah. If I try my hardest, I'm pretty sure I could pull up my stuff, but I think my goal was just to submit 10,000 a week,
Okay.
and in production. So that's like maybe 5, 6 months in. That's even before I hit 40,000, but that's when I started. Okay, I want to submit 10,000, and I want to make at least, I'm not even including pay through, just off advances. I want to make at least two, three, 4,000 a week.
Yeah.
And so that's what I was pushing for. And yeah.
What are you doing like on an average week? First off, let's start there. How are you working your
Yeah.
leads?
Yeah, no, I'm calling them. So obviously, man, even just since I've been here in the few years, things have changed. People don't pick up numbers they don't recognize as much as they did even just a year or two ago. But I am calling them. Goal is to set an appointment. Some of them don't answer. Some of them tell you to kick rocks. And but I still, even if I don't catch them on the phone or they don't want me, they're not interested or whatever, I still go and knock all those doors.
So
And
every rejection, you're still showing up.
yeah, it's a rule. It's a religion.
Let's
This is
go.
my yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
what are your dial days like for booking appointments?
Actually, you know what I do? I actually pull up the leads on the Lincoln website and I call them while I'm driving.
Killing two birds with
Yeah.
one stone, man, making the most of your
E-
time.
Trying to, man. Life is short.
And so,
Yeah.
are you calling them through the app, like just click the clickable, like clicking the links and calling?
Yeah, clicking the link. Yep. Yep. Save the number. It's tedious, but I think it's more productive than just watching YouTube.
Where are you located? I should ask you that in the first place.
Yeah. I live in Silver Spring. It's a DC. It's a town in Maryland right outside DC. Yeah.
Okay. And what areas are you generally working?
Mostly DC, Maryland, all of Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia. And ever since I've had to train more, I'm expanding more to just train my first person in New Jersey. So I had to go out there and train in Delaware. So I'm blessed that Maryland is the second densest state behind New Jersey in America. So for me, I drive like at least an hour. Well, I have leads that are closer, but I'm driving on average an hour one way,
One way.
But yeah, but I go as far as 3 hours one way. Yeah.
Okay. And what are you using to route your leads?
I use the Lincoln feature a lot. Like I'll just highlight the list, click map route. But I also pay for a route planner too. I just upload the list of my leads in there so that I can visually see where my leads are. And then just it'll be an app on my phone so I can figure out what door is closest to me depending on whatever I'm doing that day. Yeah.
That's awesome. I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of it. I'll mess it up, but there's one of the routing apps. I just did a video with or interviewed Dylan Wood, and he's like our highest converting agent. Like last month, he converted 50%. He had a 50%
Whoa. Let's
leads,
go.
but he uses some software, and I'll shoot it out to everybody. I'll put the link in this video too. But he
Yeah.
said every lead you ever put in is in there, and so unless I delete them, he
Mhm.
goes, when I'm in that area, I know to go back to those people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. I think there's a few of them. There's Map View, there's Road Warrior, I use Upper. It was just the first one I found that I could just upload a list into. Simple like that sometimes. I'll just use the first thing I find sometimes, just for speed's sake. But no, there's a bunch of them. They got different subscription levels and stuff. But yeah,
Yeah, that's cool. Now it sounds like you're starting to grow agency wise.
yeah,
How's that going?
it's a whole nother beast, man. I feel like a rookie again. But it's a blessing. It's fun. It's challenging. You want to be there for people, help them. Some want it more than others. I found myself having to go back and revisit a lot of my leadership books and stuff and just become a student again. And it's different because as a salesperson, you pretty much, it's especially once you get good, it's like paradise. You just sell. and then do whatever you want when you're done selling. You just go on vacation or travel or do whatever you got to do once you got it, once you really got it down pat. But I noticed when you're helping people, you've got to be a lot more available. And it can't be all about you because also the truth is, even if you're helping people, the majority of people are not going to get it right away. What I mean, not right away, is they're not going to get it in a month. You've got to be patient because selling can be kind of like a quick dopamine hit. You go out, you sell, you make money, boom. And but leading and training and coaching and developing, it's more of a much more long-term process. It's an investment in somebody else. So it's definitely a lot more, takes a lot more maturity, a lot more patience. And it can't be about you because at the end of the day, if it's just about you, people will smell that and be turned off. So, yeah.
100%. You're obviously leading by example. So you're showing them what the potential is at a whole new level. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
doing this long time, no matter what, you're going to have to go through a lot of people, unfortunately, because everybody wants the prize. Not everybody's willing to do the work. You know what I mean?
Y- Yeah, I've also found myself, even I've reached out to you just for some counsel and had to basically reorient myself to hold on. Just because you may have led somewhere else in the past, blah, 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 that means nothing. You got to start over here and be a student again when it comes to building an agency and helping people grow their own income here. Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What advice would you give to agents if someone said, "Hey, I want to be like Emmanuel. I want to write the production he's writing." What would be
Mhm.
like a step-by-step plan that you would give them to start that journey, and what would that look like?
Yes. The first thing would be to like realize that you have to learn about sales. I think sometimes people get too myopic. They're too like focused on just the product we sell or just what their manager says and or just what their agency is teaching them, which is you should listen to all of that and drink it in. I'm not saying don't listen to your manager. What I am saying is don't let your manager or whatever you learn from some webinar with a company be your end all be all. You have to be like a student of sales. And I think that's a blessing too, because if 50 years from now you end up doing something else, you have that skill set with you for life. But if all you learned was to sell final expense, you're going to miss a lot of stuff because at the end of the day, your product is people. I'd rather take somebody that knows sales and doesn't know the industry than someone who's been in insurance for all these years and hasn't really been that successful because the truth is you haven't figured out the people part. That would be my first step. Learn sales, be willing to be dumb, be willing to be a student, start over. Funny story about this. I remember the For Dummies series. My Yeah, I had bought this book, Commercial Real Estate for Dummies, a long time ago, and my cousin wanted to get into real estate or whatever. He was asking me how I was learning about it, and I recommended the book, Commercial Real Estate for Dummies, for him, and he was like, "For dummies? You calling me a dummy?" I was like, dude, what? The level of ego for some people is just insane. But yeah, sometimes you got to be willing to be a dummy, basically learn. And so learn sales. I would say learn everything you can from your upline, everything. Like you should what like a few months from now you should be able to teach the class if the upline is not there. You should be able to run the trainings if your upline is unavailable. That's how much you should absorb all the information. And then so those would be the first two things, which kind of are ongoing. But the last thing, it starts in the beginning and it never goes away, which is you got to work your tail off. You got to outwork the hardest worker. That like when you when people in your company think about you, they should think about that's the hardest working person I know. When you think about your friends and family, they should be thinking about you as like, you're the hardest working person I know. And honestly, you can outwork your stupidity. You can outwork all the dumb mistakes you make. You can outwork the fact that you're a rookie, and you can even outwork the fact that you're afraid. If you just work, 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 you're gonna actually get really good, and along the way, you'll make sales and get confident and get better. So,
Dude, I love it. That is such huge nuggets there, man. Phenomenal advice.
hundred
Um,
percent.
what does your work schedule look like? Like when you're, let's say you're pushing for that
Mm-hmm.
$60,000 a month. What is
Mm-hmm.
Emmanuel's day to day, week to week going to look like? How many leads are
Yeah.
you going to take? How many doors you
Mhm.
think you're going to hit? What is that process?
Yeah, so I'm gonna do if I'm going for like my biggest month ever type of thing, I'm going for 50 plus leads a week. I'm working 8 to 8 Monday through Saturday. Especially in the summer, I'm working even longer too. And I'm doing my best to be strategic. The night before, I'm planning out where I'm gonna go. The day of, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not getting ready. I already did everything the night before. I've got my lunch packed. I've got my big gallon of water filled up. During the day, I'm just strictly hunting all day. I'm like a caveman hunting for food. If I don't kill, my family doesn't eat.
I love
So, but the thing is, and I'm hitting the gym. I'm making sure I'm eating. That's why I pack my lunch also to prevent me from doing any bad mistakes with food. And really, because it's not just being out all day, it's about being intense all day too. So it's like you got to have that ability to focus and you need energy for that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you're going to the gym beforehand or after?
Before, yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
and then you're hitting the road 8 to 8. You're coming home. It sounds
Hmm.
like you're planning, you're prepping. You're working more in a day than a lot of agents working 3 or 4 days or a week
Yeah.
sometimes.
I know. But that's one thing I would say. One thing I forgot to mention that you made me think about your earlier question about what I would tell a new agent. One of the things I would tell yourself is tell them is do not listen to the agent that's bitter, frustrated, has complaints, and things aren't working out for that person. Just run like they're giving you COVID-19. Run for your life, and only listen to the top people. And because the top, we all go through challenges. The top people go through challenges too, but it's really gonna infect your mind, based on who you listen to. So only listen to the top people. Because you're right, the average person says things aren't working for them. Meanwhile, they left the field early to go play Xbox, and they've been complaining on the phone the whole time while they were supposed to be out running leads.
Yeah, that's what I had a manager of mine because it's something that we continually deal with, especially with new agents.
Mhm.
We're trying to figure it out is that consistency of time. And this is probably a year ago, but one of the managers, his agent was telling him like, "Hey, nobody's home." He's, how many doors you go to? Went to 5 doors. Like, what? Like, how long did that take? Send me a picture of every door you go to if you're serious about this. And like,
Yeah.
to me, especially like if you got an agent, like the average agent is probably working 20 to 30 leads. It's if you're really putting in
Hmm.
a full time effort, you should have
Hmm.
exhausted those leads, majority of those by
Hmm.
Thursday. You know what I mean? You should have been by
Hmm.
every house 5, 7 times, whatever it takes to get the most
Hmm.
out. Is that, are you
100%.
continually just grinding on those leads? And are you working it more weekly or do you ever rework in old leads or is it just all mainly
Hmm.
fresh and picking the low hanging fruit?
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm definitely working a lot of fresh leads, but if I'm in an area and I realize that I have older leads that maybe I knocked only once, or maybe we scheduled an appointment and they no showed me or something like that, I'll go back and knock those doors. And sometimes with the amount of leads that I pull, I may not honestly, there are some leads I just don't get to be honest with you. And I mean, I'll call them all for sure, but maybe some of them, if they're whatever, way out the way or whatever, my schedule didn't let me get over there, then there's some leads where maybe I just never got to them, but they're like maybe a couple months old. So I'll still knock all that stuff. Yeah.
How many leads are you consistently taking a week if you averaged it out?
Yeah, I would say like 50 leads a week. Yeah.
50 leads a week. So
Mhm.
most people hear that and then they think a lead cost and then they shut down.
I
What's
know.
the mind shift, or was that something that you were just never afraid of the debt, or how did that happen
Yeah.
when you got to that point of taking 50 a week?
Yeah, that's something that I was fortunate enough to learn from Cardone. From like, I felt there was a period of my life where I was listening to a lot of Grant Cardone stuff, and one of the things he talked about was a lot of salespeople don't realize, and business people don't realize that they should focus on revenue, and basically everything else will follow. And so I was like, and Brian Tracy talks about that. He says there's only two things that matter in business. One is having a world class product. We're blessed to have that, the best in the industry. And the second thing is revenue, and nothing else matters. So, like, revenue is code for sales, right? So, as long as you have sales and you have a great product, all the money that you need will be taken care of. All the results that you're looking for will be taken care of. So, if you can just focus, so that's, I was fortunate enough to have that understanding coming in. So, as soon as I realized I didn't have to pull out my credit card to buy leads, oh my gosh. Oh, dude, I was like, give me every single lead that there is.
I love it. I
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
And 50 leads a week, that's phenomenal. Are you still tracking your door knocks, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so I'm doing like anywhere from like 10 to 15 to 20. I say average is like 12 to 15.
Okay.
Some days it's a lot more, especially if I like have a bunch of leads in one area and I'm just like, forget scheduling appointments for today. I'm just knocking on all these doors. I'm definitely gonna get more than that. But if I'm driving a lot in between, and the thing is, it's a blessing. If you actually sit in a house and do a presentation, that's going to take up some time. So that's obviously a good use of time. So that may mean you're going to get to a few less stores, but at least you're making money. So
That's
hmm
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah.
Do you remember what your biggest day was?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know as far as premium, but I think it was like 7 sales. Maybe if I had to say, that'd probably be like 7,000 or so. I average like about 1,000 AP.
That's awesome. Do you
Yeah.
track your revenue?
No, I saw that. I don't. And it's funny because it depends on who you ask. I don't. Do you mean literally by the hour of that I'm in the field, or do you mean because some people will say just divide about 40 hours a week or whatever. But either way, I haven't done the math, so I don't know. So
Yeah, it was something that JR he piqued my curiosity early on whenever I first started out, and he was like, "I'm making," and I don't know what the number was at the time. It could have been $500 an hour
yeah.
every hour, 24 hours a day, whether I'm sleeping or not. It's fun. It's fun to see. And JR figured out his numbers down to the second and minute, and it's cool.
Yeah, no, that's definitely something that I need to do. I know that, but that principle in general of focusing on money making activities or basically delegating things that are not productive has been really important. I know for me, I started at one point, like for almost a year, we did like those factor meals just
Yeah,
because I was like, dude, the time to buy groceries and prep food and clean pots and pans and pack and all this, it's crazy. I'm not doing this. We started ordering those factor meals. But one thing I did do is I did hire an assistant to help me with my persistency. So I have a part-time guy who will call. So I don't do that at all. So he'll call anybody that's missed a payment, that has lapsed, that any of that kind of stuff. So that allows me to just focus on again new business in the door. Yeah.
dude, next level thinking. I love it. No wonder you're writing 600 grand.
Yeah.
I love that. We have the same thing. We have a persistency department, but to hear someone doing it on an individual level, that's next level. That's phenomenal.
Yeah, no, I had to, man. I had to, because especially once you realize like how valuable it is to really have all these people on the books, eventually like you realize, man, this is more than pays for itself. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. How many agents do you currently have? If you don't mind me asking. Just
That's a good question. I think it's like count of it, I think like nine.
like nine. Okay, cool. And when you
hmm
bring them on, how much time are you typically spending? Let's say if they do all the stuff they're supposed to do, how much time are you
hmm
generally spending field training a new agent?
Yeah, so I'll do one full day and then I'll go back out and shadow as needed. So they'll shadow me from early in the morning and then do a full day. And then as far as going out with them, we'll shadow them as needed. And for some of them, I've already done it like several times. Yeah.
Nice. Is
Yeah.
is there ever any time where you go out in the field and you don't sell anything in a day?
Of course, not as much as it used to be, thank God. But yeah, yeah, it still happens every once in a blue moon. It does happen, yeah.
What
But hey, yeah,
what would you
yeah.
guess like your maybe like door knocks to sits to closes currently is? Just some rough numbers.
Yeah, so door knocks obviously varies because some of those people just don't answer, are not home or whatever. But let's say I get people to answer the door, I would say like 70, 80% of them are going to let me in. And then for those who do, I pretty much close 8 out of 10, something like that. It's like pretty much everybody. Yeah.
So if they give you an
Yeah.
objection, they tell you they got to think about it. You're not just getting up, walking out, hooking a follow up
For the
appointment.
for the love of God, no. No, no. It was funny. We did a meeting, I think, I don't know, maybe a couple years ago, and with UBI, and I was on stage, and they were like, "How many?" I forgot who asked me. They were like, "How many times did they say no, or how many people said no to you?" And I was like, "They all say no
Yeah.
before they say yes." And so what is no? It doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't mean anything to me at this point. It just sounds like basically they need me to explain stuff. Yeah.
Awesome. And in our line of business, we run into there's no 2 days are ever alike. We run into all kinds of people, great people, sometimes not so
Mhm.
great people. What's maybe like a memorable
Mhm.
story or a funny story or something that you've had happen in the field? I'm sure there's been a ton, obviously.
Yeah. I remember one time I was training this agent and so I'm training an agent. We're sitting down doing a presentation and the lady's, about to buy and her sister storms. This is 9 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday or something. Her sister storms into the apartment like piss drunk. so drunk, loud, like aggressive. And the agent I'm training, I've already been trying to put her in areas that are a little bit less crazy. And I'm like, she probably thinks every house is like this. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And fortunately, we still get the sale, but man, there's millions of them. I think that's millions, I sliced it, but there's a lot of them. There's one where I remember I knocked on this guy's house in the Eastern Shore, which is kind of like a rural area, at 9 o'clock at night on kind of like during the winter. So it's already been dark since six something. And I'm knocking on his door 9 o'clock at night. Hello, sir, got anything for you? And he doesn't even say who is it. He just like so I just keep knocking, and eventually I'm thinking, okay, I'm just gonna write a delivery notice, get out of here. The guy opens the door with a gun and is like, but he's so friendly. He's, oh, you're just here to actually help. I thought you were lying. I was like, no, I'm just actually here to get. You reached out to us. I'm like showing him the thing. You reached out for some help on some life insurance and burial insurance. He's, oh, and he shows me his like 9mm pistol. He's, yeah, I got one of these just in case. I was like, oh my god. I was like, no, we're cool. And man, there's a bunch of them. Man, people are so funny. Yeah.
But hey, the great feeling about this though too is we get to help so many people, right? So there's a lot of people that we've always said,
Yeah.
treat everybody like it's your own parents, grandparents, put them in a better spot, and it's a phenomenal feeling to be able to lay your head down at
Yeah.
night. That you're putting people in a
Mm.
better position with a fantastic company.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a big reason why I don't take no so easily is because we actually do have the best product. So people saying that they want to shop or think about it, or maybe they'll get back to me later, or just leave your card. All this stuff doesn't make any sense when you really believe that what you're doing is helping people. I like to say sometimes it's, you got to be like their parent. If you're a parent and your kid wants to do something dumb, you don't just let them do something dumb. Yeah, so Marvin, he told me that when he joined the business, he was like 21, and he's sitting down with all these 50 and 60 years olds telling them that they need to buy. And he helped me even understand it. He was like, I had to basically just be like, Auntie, listen, you need this. And sometimes you got to have that, you got to look at them, like you said, like an older family member so that you can successfully like persuade them and realize you're convicted in the fact that I'm here to help you. One of the sales truths that I learned was that you haven't actually really helped them until they have the product, until they actually have the product. Yeah.
Would you be open to sharing like just some pointers or what you typically say when you go to the door and then walk us through some bullet points of your main points that you try and achieve during your sit with the person?
For sure. Yeah. So basically, when I knock on someone's door, they come to the door. Hey, Mr. Hale, it's Emmanuel here. Just getting back to you. How are you? Good.
Good.
I'm doing well. Good. Thank God. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. My name's Emmanuel. I'm actually just getting back to you from Lincoln Heritage. Remember, you reached out for some help on the life insurance, burial insurance. Remember that? And usually
Uh,
they're like, yes, or they could be like, no.
yeah.
They're like, no, oh, I got you. I forget stuff too. I'm busy. The truth is, sir, we got a request from you for helping you on some like life insurance and burial insurance. You're covering the final expenses. And so my job's pretty simple, just to walk you through it. It doesn't take me long. You got somewhere we can sit down real quick? And if they say okay, then a lot of times they'll say okay. If they give me an objection about not having time, I got you. I figured you were busy. We had tried calling you to actually let you know that we were here, but we weren't able to reach you. But the truth is, honestly, it just doesn't take long. I know you've got somewhere you got to go. I'm pretty sure you could spare just 5 minutes, can't you? And a lot of times they'll just be like, ah, okay. They'll let you in. Yeah. Start wiping your feet at the door, you
There
know?
you go. There you go. What do you typically wear when you're out in the field working? Are you wearing like a polo shirt or a company shirt or you dressed up, dressed down?
Yeah. I'm just wearing company polo and some like comfortable slacks and dress shoes. I got
Okay.
my polo tucked in.
You wear a
Yeah.
name badge at all?
No, I don't. I know a lot of people do, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. What do you carry with you?
Yeah, so I have a messenger bag that I strap over my shoulder, and I have a clipboard with the brochure on top, like the Lincoln Heritage with the company brochure on top. Yeah.
Are you showing them the direct mail lead that if it's a direct mail lead that they sent in?
Sometimes, yeah, if I need to. Basically, I download the lead and I put it on my phone so I can show it to them if I need. I do have it ready. Like before I go to their door, I have it queued up.
Just
So
in case.
if they try to tell me, yeah, just in case, if they try to tell me they didn't do it and all that, or they didn't reach out, I'm like, somebody sent this in. Obviously, somebody cares about you. The truth, it's not going to take long, and use that to get in. But yeah, so basically, I have it just in case, but I don't always use it. Yeah.
And are you using the clipboard separate, like with the Lincoln Heritage flyer on there?
Yeah, the clipboard is really just there. to hold I have a legal pad that I keep with me just
Okay.
in case I need to write something or whatever. I keep that legal pad and I keep the brochure on top
Okay.
and I hold it. That also helps because in my area there's a lot of apartment buildings. So sometimes I have to ring the thing and just say, "Hey, I have a delivery." And when they see me on the camera, I look, I might be delivering something. So it lets me get on up a lot more easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Smart. Smart. When you get them to sit, could you give us just a real quick of your process and what that looks like?
Dude, I keep it tight. I know a lot of people talk about a long presentation, which, I mean, again, defer to your manager on this, but just to answer the question. Basically, when I sit down with them, hey, my name's Emmanuel. You know me. I'm the one. I'll be assisting you with this. I'm on license with the state to get you all the accurate information. But to make it faster for you, I'll just figure out your exact situation so that way we only talk about what matters to you. Is that okay? Most people are like, yes, that's fine. Great. And I started asking, were you looking at covering final expenses or just leaving money behind? Who's going to be your beneficiary? Who are you looking to cover? Did you have any coverage right now? You look like you're in great shape. How's your health? Basically, I'll run through those questions. And however long or short that takes, sometimes that can be really quick if it's everything's cut and dry. But if there's a lot of color there or they're chatty, that might take longer. And then I'm just jumping right into presenting to them just main points about what we do, the product features, why they matter, and if they've told me anything about their situation, I think is especially relevant. Maybe they had a product that expired, they didn't know it would. I'm really highlighting that this won't. If they're explaining that they want something just for their final expenses, I'm really highlighting how this is unique just for that. If they had something where the price changed over the years, I'm tying in the presentation to what the product features to what they care about. And then I'm pretty much just asking them if they have any questions and just saying, great, I'm going to get you some options here. Just give me a second. I start writing the rates, ask them which one they like the best. They pick one, and we start signing up.
Are you writing on your pad or anything when they're giving you those questions? Are you writing anything at that point?
Yeah, I'm writing down basic
Basic
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah,
Okay. So you're kind of
yeah,
taking note
yeah,
of that. And then are you
yeah.
filling out the application prior to giving them a quote? Are you asking them any of the health questions or any of that kind of stuff? Or are you just,
Yeah, I have them memorized, so I can ask it in a faster way, like any major health issues at all. And a lot of this I learned from just following what Raphael did, because at the end of the day, part of the reason I came here and is because I wanted to work with somebody that had it figured out, and then also I didn't want to reinvent the wheel, to be honest. Yeah, this was how he was doing it, so I just pretty much copied it verbatim and added a little bit onto it, just whatever my flair. And then, but yeah, so I am asking the health questions. Hey, you look like you're in great shape. Any major health issues at all? Some people say no, and then you're like, great. Just to clarify, any history like COPD, cancer. They start telling you they got COPD, they're on dialysis, all this stuff. People are so funny. But basically, yeah, I just asked them real quick the health questions so I get an idea. Yeah.
that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What does it typically take for them to get you out of the house without a sale?
Oh man. I tell this to new people because when I was okay, there's two questions now versus when I was new. When I was new, they would have to literally kick me out. Like, they'd have to be standing up saying, "Okay, sir, I need you to leave. I appreciate you." I'd be like, "Okay, I'll try my best." But I always felt like I have nothing to lose and everything to gain. What are they going to do? Not buy from me? Like they're already not my customer.
Yeah.
So so as a new person, they would literally have to kick me out for me to leave without a sale. At this point, it pretty much would have to be me. It's unfair because now I've literally signed up like over 1,000 people. I don't know how many people so far, but over 1,000 people. I think over 1,500 people now, which means I've also sat through literally thousands of presentations. So it's not fair for me to say what I would do now because now my sniffer is a lot better than it was when I was new. But I can pretty much gauge if this is a waste of time or not much more accurately now. I wouldn't recommend a new person just leave every time they think it's a waste of time. Because I remember when I was new, a lot of those people who I thought weren't going to buy ended up buying. A lot of those people who I thought were dragging their feet, they were just thinking and they ended up buying just because I was patient and I didn't leave. Yeah.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
in the short period of time you've been here, I know we were chatting earlier, you were saying that you're
Yeah.
somewhere around 1.5 million in issued business on your own.
Sure.
And that's incredible. That's incredible. How many people get past that million mark? And usually the ones that do, they've been here for 20, 30 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a blessing again, the main reason why I came and I've taken off the way I have, I can't give enough credit to my uplines to Raphael, to Marvin, to Ted Wilson Sr. and the whole Wilson family. They do a really great job of creating like a winning culture and supporting somebody. Because a lot of times you can go somewhere, you can be hungry, motivated, and everything, but the organization just doesn't want you to win, or they don't want to win themselves. And it's a blessing to attach to something that's already moving and rolling.
100%, man. The whole UBI group, everyone I know over there is phenomenal. It was cool getting to see so many of them in Rome, including yourself, getting to pick your brain, and Raphael,
Yeah.
everybody else is awesome.
Yeah, that was a blast. If there's anything I would say, make sure if you're a new agent, go to the Grand Cayman. Don't sleep. Don't sleep. I remember when I was new, I printed out my the company trip flyer, and I made it my first trip. I made it pro rata and I made it as a regular agent too. And that's because I printed it out and I had it with me everywhere in the car. And you got to find different ways to motivate yourself and to keep it exciting. And the company trips are definitely worth gunning for. But yeah, it was a ton of fun hanging out in Rome with you and all your guys. You got a great squad over there. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of good people too, for sure. Well,
Yeah.
what's something that most people wouldn't guess, or they don't know what it's taken to this point for you to be number one?
You got to master the mundane. I heard this one guy talk about that. I thought that was such a great way to put it. Honestly, a lot of times it's the same thing, dude. You might drive down the same highway, go to a lot of this, maybe the same neighborhoods. You're wearing the same general like uniform or whatever clothes you wear in the field, and too many people let the boredom distract them. And they say, "Oh, I'd rather just get off early and go to the bar." "Oh, I don't feel like waking up on time today." The production doesn't come from anything flashy or super secret. It just literally comes from whoever can stay focused the longest. That's all. If you can just stay focused the longest. And even now, I'm telling myself that now on the agency side because I'm having to learn all that too. You just got to stay focused for a long time. And the crazy thing is, if you can commit to staying focused for a long time, the results will actually come relatively quick, but they won't come quick for somebody who isn't committed. I don't know if that makes sense. Like,
100%.
yeah, if you're committed, you'll be surprised the results will come like that. But if you're halfway in, halfway out, it seems like the results never come or they come like way too long and usually they don't come because people give up before. Yeah.
And for someone that's on the fence, maybe either not licensed or maybe someone that is newer and struggling, what would be some advice
Mhm.
you give them?
All I need is for you to be coachable and to be honest with me and communicate. That's all I need. If you just tell me the real and you communicate with me, you don't just go into the FBI witness protection program. If don't just go missing for a week and then call me like randomly. I can't really help you if you do that. And if you're not coachable, God bless you. If you sold a similar product somewhere at some point in your life, but I don't know anything about that. All I know is that there is a way to win here. And if you just, the truth, one thing I love about this is you don't got to just say Emmanuel's the only one winning. That's one thing I love about this. There's literally thousands of people winning with the systems that we have. So you don't have to like doubt it. You don't have to wonder if it's just you or things are just uniquely set up to come against you. I always just encourage people, listen, somebody's come from a similar background as you, has had similar obstacles to you or worse, and they found a way to make it work. So if you just have coachable, if you show up and basically you communicate, we will make sure that you win. We have everything else. Yeah.
I love that. And off the point of you saying a lot of people are winning here, I was
Mhm.
real fortunate when I first started out and I first got into management. I got an opportunity to talk with Jack London on a couple of occasions. And one of the questions I asked him was, can you tell me something about your company that maybe as a manager that I could share with people that a lot of people wouldn't know? That's maybe not common knowledge. And at that point, this is, I don't know, probably 2009-ish, 2008, somewhere in there. And at that point, he said his company had made over 66 millionaires. And I go,
Wow.
what do you mean by that? And he goes, people that have increased their net worth or that we owe over $1 million based on their accounts, what they're going to get paid. And so to hear that, and I'm going to have to press Lincoln and try and see what the updated number, if we can get that is, but that was exciting,
We need
right?
that.
To say, hey, it's not just one person went in here or 3 or 4 people went in here. There's a lot of people that are winning in all different capacities, all from different backgrounds and walks of life. And, that if you come in, like you said, that if you got that communication, you don't have the ego, you're coachable, and you're willing to be consistent with your work ethic, man, literally the sky's the limit. And you're proof of that in a huge, huge way.
Yeah, likewise. And if I know, I appreciate you interviewing me, but just to give you flowers for a moment, man, you've been a major inspiration to me since I got here. And I know that every time that I've reached out for some support, you've always made yourself available. So it just shows what kind of guy you are. And the good thing is, there's so many people in the company like that. The company's really somehow fostered this this wonderful culture, which is very rare, especially in places where you can make a lot of money. A lot of people can be pretty cutthroat. So yeah, it's a blessing.
That's awesome. And before we wrap up, would you be comfortable? You don't, you say yes, you say no. Would you be comfortable
Yeah.
sharing like what kind of income you've made or making or
Yeah.
any numbers that maybe help
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
up?
No big deal, man. My 1099 last year was 335,000, and my
Let's
pay through is just recently crossed over 11,000. So
let's go, big
that thing
buck.
is gonna, let's go. We gotta 10x that, and but nice. It's a blessing. I'm super pumped. It's just getting started, just warming up. So I'm looking forward to many more years of success with you guys.
Short period of time, man, to accomplish so much. I'm excited to see what you grow based on your faith, your work ethic, all the things. I guarantee you, man, you're already planting the seeds. Hopefully this video will touch a bunch of people and
Yes.
and we'll share. And if you're good with it, I'd love to share your information.
Yeah.
Anything that you'd want to say to anybody that wants to reach out to you directly, like as far as learning from you, joining your team, working with you, and we'll provide
Yeah.
any links or anything that you send them our way as well.
Yeah, just send me a text. That's the easiest way, just because a lot of times I'm sitting down with a client, so I don't want to
Perfect.
miss your call or whatever. 301-502-5069. I know you're going to put the
Perfect.
info in the show notes and all that, but yeah, send me a text. That's the easiest way to get a hold of me. If you want to be unique, send me a voice note. That would be awesome over text. Yeah, let's go.
I like it. I like it. And again, shout out the states that you're looking to bring new agents on in.
Yeah, so I'm looking in New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, DC, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So pretty much if you're on the East Coast, to make it simple, reach out. Yeah.
Right on, man. Hey, I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable, man. I'm excited, blessed to have you as someone I'd call a friend and a good dude in the industry to know. So thank you for doing this. And
Yeah.
man, I can't wait to see what the next chapters hold for you.
Yes, sir. Likewise. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, Adam. This was fun. Let's do it again sometime.
For sure, man. Hey, give the UBI family all the love from out here too in Cali.
I got you. I got you. Likewise to GM, man.
All right.
Appreciate you.
All right, man. We'll see you.